the extinction event of the dinosaurs.
It's an island in Italy. It's one of the most haunted places on the world, apart from Logan.
With some secret underwear.
I'm here in spirit.
And there'd be this knock at the door. Portly Gentlemen's Podcast.
G'day, ladies and gentle ghouls. Tonight, our fellow travellers of the mysteries, the portly gentlemen themselves, we have Robert Nixon, Trent Pearson, Martin the Gent, Michael Nixon, Rowan Clancy, and Captain Spectacular himself. This broadcast being recorded from underneath a moist pile of ectoplasm, from the things that go bump in the night, or the hand that gently rests on your shoulder while no one's around. The story that keep all of us in fear of the dark. That's right. Tonight we're talking about Halloween, motherfuckers. You had better hold on to your souls and pull up your granny panties. Get ready for the next installment of the Portly Gentlemen's Podcast.
I met a man who walked alone. He was walking his own road. He was a portly gentleman. He had a fear of the dark. Portly gentlemen, doing it once and we'll do it again. We're talking Halloween, the things that go bump in the night. What a portly gentleman, got some ghost tales you heard, a few of them, and all the things that will give you a fright. A portly gentleman, we're talking about stuff. We're talking about stuff.
Nicely done, gentlemen.
Nice.
Beautiful. Way to kick it off. Beautiful as always.
Do you like my reference to moist ectoplasm?
I did. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Should we have a
I got a
smoke
little
break?
boner when you'd said that, actually.
I could hear it in your voice,
Stiffy.
Nicky.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh, did you say warm ectoplasm?
Oh, ectoplasm. Woohoo, sign me up, son.
All right, so who wants to get started?
I'll go first. Get it out of the way. So I did a couple. Well, I got a couple of ghost stories. Do we want to take one turn each, telling a ghost story or a
Just
story?
straight off the bat, let's do the ghost story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So all right. So this is it's 2 for 1.
A twofer?
Yeah, 2 for
Oh.
1, bro.
Wait, is this a personal experience or are we talking
This is
should we dim our lights?
a well documented experience from Great Logan's Ghost, it's called. So it's Captain Patrick Logan. He was a commandant at the Moreton Bay in the first colonies that were over here, and he was killed in 1830. And just before he died, he had a run-in with a convict ghost, right? So he was well known for being a real brutal jailer at the camps. So a minor infraction would end you up with 3,000 lashes, and a whole bunch of the convicts just died while being lashed, whilst under this guy's watch.
Nice.
And he was well known for just going for
Nice. Always up for a good lash. Okay.
Hey, I mean, when in Rome or whatever.
when in Australia. So, and he was well known for just going out roaming on his horse by himself, checking stuff out. So one instance where he went out, apparently he was out and noticed what he thought was an escaped prisoner. And he called to the prisoner to stop, and he expected them to run, but instead they ran towards him and grabbed onto his foot, or this saddle of his horse, and he went to swat at them with the riding crop, and it just went straight through this convict, and he freaked out and rode his horse away, and this ghost essentially, or the what he saw, floated along beside, holding onto his horse until it got to the point where he'd been recaptured after he ran away a while before that. So this convict had run away, they caught him, brought him back, and then whipped him until he had died at the camp. And so when this captain was out riding by himself, he saw the ghost of that dude, and it like followed him down the Brisbane River into a certain point, which was the point where he'd been recaptured. And then the captain went back to the camp. Not long after that, he was actually killed while out on a trek with a bunch of other people, but he got separated from them. And he was like, the official's version is that he was killed by a bunch of indigenous people near Somerset region. But the like popular version at the time was that a bunch of the convicts had escaped and like done him in. But no one really knows.
Not too
Like,
hard to
100%.
die in Australia, though, to be fair.
No, it's not. And like, particularly back then, like, dude, like the story of him getting killed by indigenous people, like it wouldn't be that far-fetched. Like some random British dude, they've just been murdering heaps of your fellow kind, and he's riding by himself. You just be like, yeah, fuck that guy. He's dead. Like, you know, like wouldn't be-
Probably slipped on a slippery rock crossing in front of him.
Fuck, I got bitten by a snake, mate.
anything. Fucking Yowie got him.
Oh, you for Yowie, man. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Probably the Yowies.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Actually, I'd like to think maybe a redback bit him on the balls.
Yeah.
He died painfully.
They probably
With
deserved
swollen
it. He's like,
testicles.
Yeah, he like hadn't been paying attention, like squatted right over a redback nest. It just fucking one of them's just gone bang, straight on his ball sack, and it's not thought anything of it. Put his pants back on and like, now my bloody balls hurt. What the fuck's going on? Oh, dead. Anyway,
Dead.
Dead. Just straight up.
He's got in.
Game over.
The dingo's got him. Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, maybe he was a big baby.
So that was on the October the 17th in 1830. He was died, right? On that same day, some convicts in a completely different area of the Brisbane River, but one where he'd been like at some point, because they clearly recognized him they thought they saw him on the opposite side of the river calling out to them. So they got into this little dinghy that they had to row across the river, and like there was just no one there. Like the captain and his horse had just completely vanished. And then there's been several other, like I couldn't find any personal accounts, but the reports are that there's been several other people who've seen him in the like junction of Logan River and Brisbane River in that area there.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Since 18,
like
whatever it was.
yeah, and like all the way up to like the 1990s, there's people still like to this day who are like, oh yeah, we definitely saw him, you know, like yeah. So
With his horse?
I gave that cunt $20 yesterday.
well, and then
He
like
asked me for a smoke, that fuck.
fucking cheeky. He's been dead for years.
That's probably fucking Ziggy, mate. They're hanging out in Toowong there.
Just dressed up as like some, you know, British colonial captain that he's like found this outfit in an op shop like 30 years ago. He's been wearing it ever since. It looks so sick and deathly that people think that he's a ghost.
So
It's like, I must be captain.
yeah.
Is that photo you had, Biggie?
Yeah. So that's that
Yeah.
photo.
Probably show
is
that
of
photo
him.
then, eh?
Trenny, if you want to pull that photo up.
I certainly can.
So
This is the
that's
fella here.
that's a picture of him before he died.
Yeah, okay. Looks like an asshole.
It'd
He
be
looks like he's
impressive if
already
it
dead.
was a photo after he
It probably looked like
died.
it probably looked like that for a little bit after he died. Not long though. His
So
balls-
Depending on how he died, I suppose.
His-
you know.
his
What did you
balls-
say?
his
He was a
ball-
British captain or something.
Yeah, well, he was actually from Scotland, but he was in the British.
Navy.
He got
Trader.
demoted and sent to Australia.
Yeah, he
Trader.
was
Yeah,
he was a captain, so yeah, probably in the Navy, I'd say.
yeah.
But he was like the chief of the what are they called? Convict camp, where they were setting up like really early in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And like they brought him in because he was so strict and like he was well known for getting things done.
So
And
maybe the convicts killed him. 'cause he
well,
was a
dude,
cunt.
yeah, like
He has been whipping them for like how
That's-
long?
yeah,
By
so
this
that-
point.
Give him like 4,000 lashes.
Again, this guy made enemies of everything.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then he's in Australia.
Send him to Australia. Enemies of everyone here. Like, ooh.
Yeah. That guy's gonna
I know
last a
he'll
long
last
time
long.
when he's by himself. Like,
Chopped him up and fed him to the bull sharks.
Yeah.
Fed him to the dugong.
the bull shark just straight up walked out of Brisbane River and was like, oh, "I've heard about you. I'm gonna do everyone a favor." Dragged him back in.
Yeah, nice.
That's a local ghost, isn't it?
Yeah,
well,
that's
that's-
surprisingly close to home, sort of thing.
Dude, so
Yeah, right.
I initially started looking for stories at like even closer, and Laidley is apparently haunted as fuck, man. There's a bunch of ghost stories about shit in Laidley, like
Hmm.
the pub apparently.
What's Laidley, Biggie? Like, you need to explain, like, what, like, why is Laidley
Oh,
significant?
All right, so I live in Forest Hill, which is 15 minutes away from Gatton, which is 45
Laidley is the
minutes
most
out of
haunted
Ipswich.
I mean,
on the
don't give
world, man.
everyone on the internet your exact location.
Yeah,
mate.
Yeah.
Just say you live in
Just
a
to say, Laidley is the most haunted place in the world.
My
Yeah,
address
Laidley.
is in my
Laidley,
phone number
Queensland,
and all that.
haunted as fuck. Laidley, Queensland. And if you want to get in touch with me personally, you can ring me on.
Yeah, can you drop a fucking Google Maps pin on the
Yeah,
go.
Go on, Trent. Do it.
Oh, good, mate. I'm all over it.
Maybe,
Actually,
maybe.
do street view so you can actually point out the driveway.
Be funny if they've taken a photo recently and I'm just out the front in my fucking bathrobe, like collecting the bins on a Monday. Like, oh, fucking bins.
You have a
And that's what's-
bathrobe? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, fancy ass.
Wait,
fuck.
you don't have a bathrobe, Mum?
Don't you
Yeah,
live in
Marty,
bathrobes?
don't you have a bathroom?
What the
No,
fuck?
of course not.
Where's your decency for your housemate when you want to walk through the place naked?
I make sure they're not awake.
That sounds like more effort than
Get a
buying a
bathrobe.
bathrobe.
Bathrooms are the
in a
road
pipe,
of the
like,
pimp, Marty.
jeez.
Or just become
Alright,
comfortable
alright.
with the fact that you're going to show Rowan your
Ah.
dick once a week. Like,
Life doesn't start until
Sorry,
bathrobe, you know?
about this.
Yeah. How old are you in bathrobe?
all right.
It's time to grow up, Marty.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. All right, that's on my list of things to buy. Bathrobe.
On the top,
But it-
I hope. Tiffany's
Yeah,
top.
well,
It better be your new number one, son.
yeah. Well, I'll get a bathrobe, but it's gonna be made out of clear, like plastic. So
That sounds like a raincoat, dude.
Yeah, that's a raincoat, you ding dong.
That's a fucking raincoat.
And also, that's
a
not
plastic
that's,
bag. I don't know. That's like a homeless,
Bathrobe.
homeless bathrobe.
that's it.
I got like I was gonna do a story on a ghost story in New York, but I found one from a school teacher in Townsville, so I thought
Ooh.
keep it close to home or whatever.
Is it your mum?
Maybe, I don't know.
Was it my
I'm
mum?
not sure.
could've
Unproven.
been
You
my
know what I
mum.
mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Wait, was it
well-
Trent's mum?
Yeah, it was was it one of our aunties?
It could have been. I mean, possibly all of our parents are teachers, or all of our
Was
mums are teachers.
was it our uncle?
But yeah, like, they were just basically writing about a student they had, sort of thing, in their class. So it's like pretty, like reasonably recent, like early 2000s sort of thing. And she thinks this person is like the fucking Antichrist sort of thing. So I'll skip all the
Juicy parts?
the flower, yeah, but basically, they would have she'd go into class and she'd see him with red eyes and whatnot, and he would always incite everyone around him to act out, sort of thing.
Just sounds like he was stoned.
I mean, possibly.
A rebel.
Yeah,
Red eyes.
rebel without a cause.
Causing everyone to fuck up at the start of school. Like,
Yeah. And so,
Disruption to class.
yeah, undoubtedly. But yeah, so a bunch of those kind of, things. She basically just waffles on for a bunch of time about how terrible this kid was, sort of thing. And so but she had like a fucking breakdown after a couple of years, sort of thing. And then a couple of years later, when she was like picking herself back up together, like looked into it and reckons she like found him basically through history. So here's a bunch of fucking her research and photos from.
Oh, wait. Are we going to put money that it looks like fucking Trent, Marty, Mick, myself, Big Dog, or Biggie?
I don't know. Let's have a quick gander.
Oh, fuck.
All right, so there he is.
I can explain.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's
hard to tell.
It doesn't look out of
it's
place.
it's hard.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
That's not that far back, though. That seems
No,
pretty
well, like
recent.
if I could work out how to share my screens, this would possibly work a bit better. But there we go. There he is again. During 9/11.
Oh,
Same beer.
And yeah, I mean, like these photos keep popping up, you know, throughout history of this guy. It's like, he's everywhere, you know. It's really something else. Like,
You can pay for that image too, Getty Images.
hey, well, let's not pull copyrights into this. Let's I don't know. That seems to be.
oh, fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Fucking-
yeah, they're everywhere. Honestly, guys, like these photos. You know what I mean? The Black Plague, like these scenarios keep popping up. And I don't know. It's a pretty.
He's just standing in front of a painting there.
It's a compelling
Yeah,
case.
It
Yeah.
is a compelling argument.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Yeah,
that
no,
paints
it
it
says-
back.
It's weird
That
how he
makes
always has that black oil above his head.
It is weird, right?
Isn't it weird that
It's
he's
so-
always drinking extra dry? Like,
It's just
fuck, who
it's
drinks extra dry?
consistent.
Yeah, I was about to say nobody likes extra dry. Like it's a
Yeah.
weird, like you have
Except-
to- I feel like it would be pretty easy to find that guy. Like he's
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
one that buys extra dry.
The
Actually,
only
Trent,
one.
you should be able to track him down, man. You work at the distribution.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you that beer is worthy because it's lasted the test of time.
Hold on, where is he?
Yeah,
in
well,
this one?
clearly, I mean,
Where is he in this one? I'm missing him.
he's
Oh, he's on
am-
the side there.
so is that cut out?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's at the the extinction event of the dinosaurs. Just in case you guys can't see that.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
And there's one more, which I think is probably the most atrocious of all. You know, it's at the on set of Saint Anger of the Metallica Saint Anger.
That's the
like,
worst one. I mean,
yeah, what
Hitler was
a-
bad.
How
Oh,
dare he?
we
How
sort of
dare
know. We know he's the devil now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
No, you know what he is? He's an NPC that gives you the quest. He's a quest giver in an RPG game.
Okay. At each stage
Yeah, I
in
like
history.
Marty's
Yeah.
idea. Let's go with that one.
Gives you
So, what are you gonna say for yourself, Trent? Clearly, photos of you drinking extra dry.
Yeah. What's with the
What can I
extra dry,
say?
mate? That's
Yeah,
what
what's
I
in
wanna
there?
know.
Explain the extra dry. Yeah,
Someone's
other-
gonna drink it. Like,
yeah. Like we knew you were into atrocities, mate, but come on, let's. They've got to draw a line somewhere. Extra dry,
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
more
you gotta
curious as to
tell
how you
them,
kept it cold.
like killing off the dinosaurs and causing the Titanic to sink. We can live with those, but extra dry, really?
Doing it
mate?
while drinking an extra dry. Questionable.
Yeah. I mean, you could have like strung it up to a slight mistake. Like, oh, whoops, made a mistake here, guys. But you're just chilling with an extra dry. Like, yeah, I did that on purpose.
I got a good one for you then, boys. My ghost story involves sort of ghost hunters in New York, and essentially there's this real famous painting called Vigo. And
Called what? What was it called?
it's called Vigo the Carthaginian.
Isn't that the dude from fucking Ghostbusters?
Oh, Biggie, you ruined it, man.
Well, that's the whole plot too. Oh,
Yeah.
well.
Does it involve Sigourney Weaver? Is she in it?
Oh,
Well,
fuck.
I got a couple of good other ones,
Okay.
backups, just in case. So, I don't want to say the name. I know I'm going to say it wrong. So it's Poveglia. So Poveglia, and it's an island in Italy. And essentially, it's one of the most haunted places on the world, apart from Logan. But if I can get Trent to pull up the map of it, it'll essentially you'll see why they get the best Wi-Fi reception.
Is this what you want?
Oh no, there's another map that'll probably be easier. I should have sent you the link for it.
Right, well, perfectly.
But anyway, so it's a
What was that a map of?
island northern.
What? That was a map of Italy, bro.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? What was the map of? It's Italy, bro.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's it. Or is it the Spotify?
No, it's Wi-Fi.
It's Wi-Fi. You can see why.
Change it to satellite rather than terrain or whatever.
Can we see what?
Former
Yeah, that's so good, Caleb.
Yeah, terrain. Get terrain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
no,
looks
yeah.
exactly like my fucking awesome Wi-Fi signal.
Fucking just.
I broke Vic. Sorry, boys.
So good.
So northern Italy, and this island goes way back as a place. It's only
Oh, fuck.
17 kilometers, like squared, and they used to. It goes all the way back to like Roman times and everything. But essentially, they would dump people there that were sick, and it went through a few stages, where. So they tried to settle it, and I know I've lost it. Where is it?
That's just like Magnetic Island. Magnetic
It's
Island.
it's a forest sort of island. It's real flat and stuff. But they went through a stage where they were just isolating people on this island,
Yeah.
and especially during like the Black Plague periods.
Yep.
And stuff. They'd isolate all the anyone that was sick on this island.
Yeah.
And
It's also the former home of a mental institution. It said that in
It
the
is.
bio.
yeah. So yeah, it went through like what the plague went 3 times, and they dumped over like 160,000, and they were just dumping people on this island.
I think
Anyone
I've,
that
50,000
showed
people.
any signs of sickness, they'd be like, you coughed on me.
Yeah.
the,
On
uh,
the boat, throw them on the
Yeah.
island and stuff.
I think I've got a photo of that island actually, just real quick. That's on the scene, as far as I understand it.
That's where that photo
Oh.
goes originated from.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
That was when they all rebelled. All the sick cunts were sick of
Yeah.
being governed, and they decided that their leader, the one with the arrow above their head, oh, let's get that cunt. What's that black arrow about? No one else could ever see it except for the sick.
So what happened on this island, Calan?
So essentially, it went through the Black Plague. And they were just throwing like it was 160,000 people or something had died on this island during that process, and they just burned the bodies. And like there's stories of like people being like dumped on this island, just with minor sicknesses and just having to wade through like rotten corpses sort of deal. And they'd have to stay on it for like 40 days to quarantine and stuff to show that they weren't sick. But essentially, I think it's like the island is 50% human ash. And even now, like on the beaches, like bones just fucking get washed up on the shoreline. And the fishermen won't fish near it and stuff in case they like drag them up in their nets and stuff.
Yeah, true.
So it went on through that sort of period, and they got through the Black Plague, and they tried to put some a church on it, and the monks didn't want any bar of it. So then they turned it into a mental institution with around Napoleon Bonaparte's time, for like early 1900. Is when they built a mental hospital. And so one of the doctors at this mental hospital, like they were torturing people, and they were pretty horrific sort of circumstances. And one of the doctors there was like extremely horrible. He was trying to pioneer the whole lobotomies and stuff.
Yeah.
And he just used chisels and hammers, and he just did it in the most inhumane ways, like torturing people in this bell tower, especially like just horrendous sort of deals. And so yeah, all that went on this island, and then that they abandoned the island again, and it's sort of been blocked off since. But people like don't go near it and all that because like bones and shit, but also the stories behind it, because so many people go to this island and actually get full freaked out, where they'll hear the bell tower ring and stuff. Oh, and the doctor, this guy that tortured him and did all this horrendous shit, he actually jumped out of that bell tower. And they don't know, like they say that he committed suicide, he was like pushed out by mental patients, or the other story is he just went mad. But as the doctor hit the ground, there was only one witness, which was the nurse, and she seen like a black smoke just in like case him, and then just funnel into his mouth and like strangle him, and then he was just dead. So like from stories on this island, they get heaps of like stories of the bell ringing, which it's all unoccupied and all that. And I don't even think there's a bell in it. They turned the bell tower into a lighthouse years later. So yeah, there's a bell ringing. There's people getting attacked, and just like tremendous fucking horrible energy. They just downed everyone. But yeah. So that's my ghost story.
Oh,
that's
one
of the most craziest places.
Damn good. That was
Yeah. Dude, like this whole island, fucking so many people died. And under like horrendous circumstances.
That is fucked.
Well,
and then like people
that's
on
medical
it.
science back then.
If you die in horrific pain, anger, that you could leave, like that energy gets left in that place. Hence why ghosts are around.
We've talked about this before with the stone tape theory, where like the energy of a place remains, like the
like a video clip.
Yeah, it gets replayed over and over again under the right circumstances.
The best one by far is our fucking role model, Sir Charles Francis Bacon.
Don't believe his name was Charles, but
it was Francis.
Francis,
I got my dog right here, so I have to-
Charles, just throwing some good
Oh, I
measures.
just created a new character, Charles Francis Bacon.
Charles Francis Bacon.
I'm Charles Francis Bacon.
Charles Francis Bacon.
Is
The
that
fastest
the
of all the
beginning?
I
Francis
have a
Francis
few under
Bacon?
my belt.
Is
No, that's my
figured
brother.
out how to freeze bacon? Is that
Yeah.
dude?
Francis Bacon.
Yeah, Francis Bacon. Yeah, figured out how to freeze chickens.
Yeah.
Ghost
But
chicken.
Charles Francis
Yeah.
Bacon figured out how to roast them.
Well, to preserve them.
He was the son of He was the son of Francis Bacon. He was Charles Francis Bacon, and he was like, right now we know how to freeze these cunts. How do you cook them up?
CK,
Thanks
have
to
you
my
got a
dad,
good
we know
ghost
how to
story?
freeze chickens. But
I've
how do you
got
cook
a
'em?
ghost story.
Yeah.
But like, probably needs like little bit of intro. So have you guys heard of Tulpamancy or like Tulpas?
Can we smoke break real
You
quick?
smoke right now.
Or
You're
Are
in.
they
You're
people
literally
who
in
think
your own
there's a,
garage.
Yeah. What are you doing,
another
Biggie?
person living inside of them? Is that
Yes.
tulpamancy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tulpamancy is like the concept of a tulpa is essentially like this thing that is created or like that you personally create.
Yeah.
And some people think that it's like a
An entity,
like a-
something that's
some people think it's like a psychotic illness, basically, that's
Oh,
like self-inflicted.
yeah, sure it is, but they don't think that.
No, and they definitely don't. And there's this huge community online of these people that are essentially like calling entities into existence and letting them inhabit their bodies.
Yeah, and they switch. It's like it's like a personality disorder.
Yeah,
Where
but
they
yeah.
switch.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, they say like a tulpa is sentient and conscious, yet it also shares your body and mind. So it's separate from you, but it is you because it comes from you.
Yeah, of course it is.
Is that the same when they say like transplant and body parts and stuff? How they say is that on that
consciousness
same-
comes with
Yeah,
the body
but-
part.
comes with the body part?
Well, I mean, kind of, but not at all, because like this is like something that people are like purposely creating. This isn't like you've got a
Purposely
transplant.
doing.
Yeah, they are going, okay, here's this idea. I'm going to do this idea. This idea is I can have a entity living inside my body who shares all of my experiences, all of my knowledge, but is separate from me. So some people use it for like a partnership and like companionship. But then also like a big part of that is like a lot of these people probably are very, very lonely and have been through some kind of like trauma in their life where it probably helps them deal with that.
Yeah, dude, it's a mental issue.
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds like it.
it's really difficult. Like it definitely does sound like that to me, but I don't want to fucking put all these people into this box of being like deranged lunatics, because I think that like if you're the kind of person that is like resorting to this to find some kind of like to fill a void, like probably if you don't have that void filled, the thing that you're going to fill that with is probably going to be worse than a tulpa. You know what I mean?
Well, either way, they would surely they must be feeling lonely in some regard, because
oh yeah, no, for sure, they're definitely
to,
probably a lot of them are really lonely. A lot of them are detached from like society, so like they and this is just like from my research, so obviously I'm not speaking for like all tulpamancers, which is like a huge community online.
Really?
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge, man.
I didn't realize it was so big. Like I thought it was a thing, but I didn't.
No, like if you like, it's
get
really,
into it,
really
man.
it's really, really common, and I think more so for the younger generation. I think it's probably was the thing that was probably most popular 2010 around then.
Really?
It comes from like a Tibetan, some kind of Tibetan thing. But with the Tibetan tradition, apparently, like once they had created the tulpa, they would also then like essentially exercise it, like they would get rid of it. Whereas these people are like living with this thing day to day, even a lot of them in relationships. So like they're married and they have a tulpa and they're partner knows about the Tulpa and is like totally comfortable with this.
That's fucked up, bro. I mean,
Chicago
unless you
Med-
really want a threesome, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you're desperate for that threesome, then yeah, all right, get a Tulpa involved. But
Yeah, but like it's not really a
questionable.
threesome. It's not really a threesome. It's more like having sex with a schizophrenic. You know, like
Depends how you count the threesome. Like, is it conscious?
it could go wrong at any moment.
I think
She doesn't want that.
Is it a coping mechanism?
So I think in a lot of
Isn't it
cases,
most of the time it would be that?
sorry, Caelan, what was that, matey?
Oh, most of the time that is the circumstance. So surely.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that to me. But also, like I was saying, like I don't think that because like a lot of things are coping mechanisms. Like smoking is a coping mechanism. Like fucking smoking weed or drinking alcohol, like having fucking friends is a coping mechanism in some way. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that. And all I'm saying is like obviously some are more healthy than others, but it's like a weird.
Never
thing.
had a friend but my wife, my friend.
But yeah, like I don't think it's like necessarily saying that like is like bad, like necessarily bad, because like a lot of these people, like I said, like if it wasn't for this, then like what is the other option? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm very.
I just don't want to put these people down. That's all.
Yeah. I've heard about this before, and it's very interesting. Like, what these people do to themselves to just live, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's essentially what it comes down to. And I haven't read a lot about it. I've read a little smidge bit about it. I know slightly about it, but I don't know a lot.
Yeah,
about
so
it. And,
I mean, and I think it's hard
shit.
so I think it's hard to like know a lot about it because like unless you're part of the community, which there is a big online community, like it's a huge community where these people talk about their tulpas and they talk about how to create a tulpa. Like if you just YouTube how to create a tulpa, there's like thousands of videos on how to create a tulpa. And it walks you through the process.
Is there any kind of sacrifice involved?
No.
So it's not like summoning a demon or
only if
and so this is
there's always the chook in the snow, mate. That's the only sacrifice we all need to worry about.
So this is the weird thing though, Big Ears, because like I don't know that it's not summoning a demon. Like, and I don't think that they necessarily do either. Like you could just say that demons don't exist, right? But like these people are clearly creating something, at least in their own mind. They're creating something.
Which is like they switch in and they switch out.
And this is the weird where it gets weird, right? It's like the possession thing. Because that's exactly what it is. It becomes possession. And so apparently where people get into trouble is they let the possession happen too early. So apparently, like it's this long process of creating a tulpa where like within the first couple of weeks of the tulpa coming into existence, it's essentially like a fucking baby. And you have to like nurture it and teach it lots of things. And it will want to take possession of your body, but you can't let it because it's too young and naive, and it hasn't learnt enough yet. And so it gets to the like a point where you then feel comfortable with it, where it starts to develop its own personality outside of you. And so another area where people get into trouble with this stuff is where they start to try and direct its evolution. So like they want it to be like a certain person. Yeah. But the overall view, at least as far as I could tell online, is that like, no, this is a sentient being. Like it's not, you can't force it to be something that it's not. And as soon as you start to force it to do that, that's where shit starts to get sketchy. And that's where it starts to try and like do negative things and has like bad ideas or whatever.
Yeah, it takes you out on a night in the town, to say, just for a story's sake.
Yeah.
And fucks you up, and then you wake up and go, what the fuck?
And what's crazy, right, is we've all seen like people with squirrel eyes after getting drunk. Like, fuck me, I've been there. You know what I mean? And like you could call that possession. You know what I mean? Like, and some people do, man. Like, there's people that particularly people that get violent and stuff like that. Like, it's like, oh no, that wasn't me. That was drunk me. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
was
Yeah.
it? You know, and so
Was
like,
it me or was that?
and
that
so
sentiment
Like, how many times I have to
that lives in
apologize
my
to
brain?
you, CK?
so yeah, like so a lot of the time it starts out as like essentially like a doppelganger because it's like you know, you only have your experiences. So like you're just basically
Holy
creating
shit! So I am my own doppelganger. Like,
yeah, well, like, or at least you could create.
I mean, if you created another one,
you know
yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it just sounds white.
Yeah. So another thing that they a lot of people try to like model it on is like a dream partner, somebody that's like perfectly understanding in the way that they want them to be. Or another really common one is imaginary creature. So like a lot of them are like My Little Pony fucking characters, or like
Oh god,
like
See,
bats, or
that's-
like
That's where I
Yeah.
start to go like, yeah, this shit's just fucking. That's a mental disorder.
It's a mental illness. Yeah.
Like-
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know, and I don't want to like be dismissive of this stuff. So I think that like the reason why you have that reaction potentially is because like the concept of it being like representing its image as My Little Pony, but it's not representing itself as My Little Pony. Like that's just its image. Like obviously it's much more deep than just being like, nah, I'm Sparkles or whatever like the guy from the show is.
Like you're telling it to be that. You're perceiving it as that. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It's its own thing. So like they don't believe that it, like they believe it's sentient. Like they believe it's its own thing. That it's not part of you once it gets to a certain point. It becomes its own thing. So like whatever image it has is just whatever image you created it with at the start. So anyway.
Yeah, so this is part of the reason why we have fucking cunts who are furries out there.
Oh, for sure. I think that there's got to be a correlation with a lot of this stuff. And a big part of that, I think, probably comes down to internet culture. Like there's a big part of that is like this shared thing.
Adam Biggie.
And also
the missing link between tulpas and furries is Biggie.
with what you're doing as well. If you find a community who's like, yeah, cunt, wear a furry costume, let's fuck.
Yeah,
like,
so like a cult.
Yeah, like a cult. Yeah, you indoctrinate yourself into this thing and then you just become it. It's like religion.
Well, I think it's different from. I think it's different for like I can draw a pretty clear line between like a cult and religion, but anyway, it's probably like a topic for another time. But yeah, so basically, like the Tulpa community like warns against like trying to create it in your own image or like give it like a direct like way to evolve. It's like no, you gotta let it be it, because like it's a big no basically. And they basically say like there's so many videos and like articles or like blogs and stuff about this, where they basically say like before doing it, like think really long and hard whether you want to do it and whether you're doing it for the right reasons. And basically saying that tulpas aren't known for being evil. But like most of the time it will be fine, but it can go wrong. And the times that it goes wrong is usually when it's created like in your own image, like something that you're putting on it rather than letting it be its own thing.
Whoa,
So is this derived from somewhere or is it just simply created from
Tibetan or something, CK?
Yes, yeah. So I mean, originally it's like this Tibetan thing, but I think what Marty was saying is like, where does it come from? Like, which is like, I think the question, right, is like, are these things just out in the ether and you're just giving it a place to come to? I don't know. Like, obviously, like that's a huge question that I don't think anybody can fucking like legitimately answer. But anyway, I can go through this story. So this is a story of this guy. Well, hold on. Before I do the story, like there's a couple of examples of this, and where I think it can make it like way more understandable for people. Where like Tom Hanks in the Castaway movie with Wilson.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people's tulpas are like inanimate objects.
Yeah.
So like Wilson is a fucking tulpa. You know what I mean? And like everybody gets sad when Wilson dies.
When Wilson floats away.
Yeah, exactly.
Wilson, no.
Yeah.
But I
Um,
also think that that is just because Tom Hanks can make you experience emotions for a fucking volleyball.
maybe he's a fucking tulpamancer.
Mad respect for Tom Hanks over there, buddy.
Big fan.
He's just a good
Dang.
actor.
Not the director.
So has anybody watched Dexter?
Fuck director.
Yeah.
You watched Dexter, Trent?
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah.
I've never watched it, but apparently this is like another good example where like Dexter's dad in the Dexter series like acts as his conscience essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't know because I've never watched it, but apparently like that's another example. And then Tyler Durden in the Fight Club franchise. So he's like
So
again.
this could be something that's possibly fed to people subconsciously through watching some form of media, some form of art.
Possibly, or it's something that exists in like physical reality.
Well,
or, like,
honestly,
mental space.
it's always
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah. And it's just that these movies like cover, like, even look at fucking Pinocchio and his conscience with the fucking cricket.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, like it's like these stories are as old as time where you have this like thing that's like helping you along your path. And
Or like
it could just
Trent-
be an inner monologue.
You fucking extinct.
But your
days.
conscience is different to a tulpa, right?
Well, is it? Because sometimes you disagree with your conscience.
Yeah, but you don't have to actively invite your conscience into your life. It's just there.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that, man. I don't know about that because
I
like
think it's always there, isn't it?
it's always
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always there.
yeah. So I don't.
He's a part of you.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And that's where also like ghosts as well, man. The whole concept is that whole conscious plane that your energy still remains.
Are you doing?
Yeah, that's
poo,
right. They're
Rowan?
always there.
Sorry.
Are you doing it? Are you squeezing?
Are
out
you getting
poo right now?
tanned?
Yeah, he's in it.
He's
Tanning
a
booth.
shitter.
He is.
No,
He's
just
sitting
going
on
for a
the
walk.
toilet. No,
A
you're not.
walk?
You're sitting on the
Bullshit. You're on the
toilet.
pisser.
I know you're sitting on the toilet.
Martin's in the same house as you, dude. He knows you're the shitter.
Totally sitting on the toilet.
At least he's got at least he's got the decency to keep the mic off.
Yeah, true.
That's what you thought.
Well, don't get up for us. You could have squeezed it out and been
Yeah.
done with it.
Finish up.
Or just,
Can't do any more.
What?
What?
Shitters.
Who's?
he's done.
Yeah. So examples of this like going bad, like ghost sightings, like you were just saying, Calan, where there's like, like potentially like there's like these energies all around us all the time, but potentially like these ghosts are like tulpas that just still exist and are like wandering around the world still. Or when a bunch of the population believes in these ideas, it creates a collective consciousness tulpa. So you're like,
So because everyone thinks the pub in Laidley is haunted,
yes,
the pub in
The
Laidley
pub
is haunted.
is haunted.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that idea.
Yeah, so I like the idea of tulpas. So yeah, it's like another example of it was in 2019. There was two girls in Wisconsin, and they took a girl, another one of their friends, out into the woods and stabbed her 19 times. And they claimed that, yeah, right. And they basically claimed that they did it because Slender Man
told him to, yeah.
Slender Man.
Yeah.
So
This is what I was talking about with like media and different forms affecting people
Well,
in ways
that
that
wasn't that
they're
like
taking this in like seriously. They're taking things aboard and turning it into
Yeah, well, that's right,
stabbing
man.
a chick 19 times in the fucking forest.
So they wouldn't have been able to like even like if they weren't aware of the idea of Slender Man, they might have still like stabbed their friend in the forest, but they wouldn't have been able to blame it on Slender Man. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's like a
Slender Man-
counterfactual, like where you
Yeah.
can't say that it would have happened differently if they hadn't
Yeah.
consumed the media. So
I,
that's where it gets
I,
weird.
I was under the whole concept that they said that in court as like a cop out. Like they knew it was
I mean,
like
it's a pretty-
it's a
alright,
pretty
for,
shithouse
for another
cop-out.
example is the two boys that killed that fucking little boy on the train tracks, right? Because they just wanted to, you know? Because this little
Yeah.
kid was annoying. So it was the same concept, but these girls did it, and then they used that like a
Slender Man
Slender Man
as a
so to get
excuse.
the
yeah.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
What's
okay.
it? That whole
Which-
fucking cop out.
You know what? Which what's the word? Which,
Subsequently,
yeah, that's the word. Would have boosted the whole Slender Man like
Brain
Oh, no.
the
Yeah.
Slender Man trademark. You know, trademark R. So
Yeah.
Slender Man would have went fucking boot. You know.
yeah. So
up
and for
sales
sure it
and
has. Like
result.
for sure, and for sure
Yeah.
it did. Like after that, you know, like you could probably. I guarantee there's probably some mechanism on Google that you could have a look at search history for Slender Man after that murder happened.
Yeah.
Because I know I Googled it after I first heard about that.
I got a good story for you about the Slender Man, and I know this one is in Canada, and this is sort of where it originated from. There's this one part of this highway where the drivers would fucking go down, you know, and they would see this guy in a suit, like fucking above average, like in height, and he would just jump off this bridge as you drive through it, and they'd just see this like, and he'd land and look at the castle thing, and they'd be like, "Fuck, dude, get the fuck out of here," and that's where that whole ghost story, sort of that whole concept of Slender Man came from, was Ghost in Canada.
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of that kind of stuff, like the interesting part of it to me is like what you were talking about, Marty, where like, is it like potentially like the collective consciousness, like some idea, like a mind virus gets inside somebody's head, and then they share it with somebody else, and then it gets shared with somebody else, and then it creates this actual force,
like real, like a thing that they think is real.
and even if it's not like physically real, and even if it is just in their heads, it becomes real because of the consequences of people thinking about it.
Mm.
So like you can't say that that's any less real than a physical fucking thing if people start driving their cars off a bridge because they're trying to avoid like a ghost in the dark that they see because of a fucking shadow of an overhanging tree, and they think that it's Slender Man. You know what I mean? Like it, at that point, what is the difference between reality and this concept in our heads, you know?
It's like an idea is a seed, and then that idea is planted, and then that seed grows, and it just manifests in
Yeah, but I think what you have to like
situations like that.
what you kind of have to think about there or acknowledge there is that like it's the idea of the thing that's causing the accident, not the thing itself. So the thing itself isn't real. Like it's no more real just because it's an idea in everyone's head. The fact that it's the idea is the real thing. Like that's what's real. The thing itself.
I think it gets really weird. Like I would love to have this conversation, but probably it's like a much larger conversation, Biggie, about like what is real and what's not, and like how do we define real or whatever. But
Well, I'll give you one story. Ghosts are fucking real because my shed's haunted.
You
I
reckon?
that
the basic
motherfucker's
point,
floating
the
around here.
basic point, you know.
Oh, you're breaking up.
And there's my second example.
CK's haunted.
CK's
CK's haunted.
Oh shit!
Oh,
He's
no.
You know,
actually a ghost.
When you take a clear photo of someone, you see a clear picture, and then you see that fucking
Wait a
thing
minute.
ghost.
Ghost
Is
instant.
CK real? Can she
I'm getting a
ever
drink
be
while
real?
CK's broken. Oh no, he's back.
I'm,
Yeah.
having-
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. He is.
I'm liking Trent's idea though.
All right.
Yeah, we all grabbing
Yes.
drinks, are we?
He's not a tulpa. He's not a collective tulpa.
the extinction event of the dinosaurs.
It's an island in Italy. It's one of the most haunted places on the world, apart from Logan.
With some secret underwear.
I'm here in spirit.
And there'd be this knock at the door. Portly Gentlemen's Podcast.